Let's go for it. Hello everyone, how are you today? So last stream we did the generators, we did two generators, these two. And today actually I want to start with something new. Like in the streams of the generators, the playlist, I think is still linked to this email, to this video. I talked a little bit about the basics of Blender, the UI, the navigation, but of course covering Blender is a big topic. But at least I gave you a little bit of like introduction. Today I want to do something different. I want to start, you can see my pen here. I want to start sculpting this dude in the middle. This is the scene, the whole of the scene is that this guy is running these generators. So like he is like the thug who's making money out of these, but it's at the same time, he has a certain character. So I have no references right now. I'm gonna just wing it and we'll see how it goes. It's not the first time that I sculpt, of course. I have other streams where I sculpted before, so I'm gonna introduce you a bit into sculpting since we are in the basics streams. So I'm gonna explain what's happening. So this is my scene. The way you see it as like this, the coloring, probably the voice is too loud. Yeah, I guess now it's better. Too little. Yep. So if you go to pressing Z, which is the same thing as picking any of these, the wireframe, the solid, the material preview, and the rendered. This has a weird projection. Yeah, I think this is the paint. That's fine. But let's press Z again, go to solid. So the way I'm seeing it right now or previewing it is because I have it set to flat and it is set to random. All right. But of course, this is just for the thumbnail. I just did the thumbnail. So let's move on. So now right now we want to sculpt. And the way to sculpt is you can either select sculpting mode from here. You can either select sculpting the whole like interface turns into sculpting. You see you have new tools. Or you can just press Ctrl Tab and press sculpting. It's the same thing as picking these. And nothing changed, just the cursor changed a little bit. And that's because if you press T, you're gonna see the toolbar. You can, I think they come out like this. You can just drag this and read. I think they come out like this, yeah. Without naming, so you don't know what you're doing. If you drag it a little bit more out, they're gonna be like on two columns, and then if you keep on grabbing, you're gonna get with names. So the grab brush, just let me make sure that I'm sculpting the right object, will allow you to move things. So it's really good to grab. Also, you can turn on symmetry. So this is X and Y. I think so. This is the axis that we're on. This is the Y. So you can see that I'm affecting both sides. And like the most tools that we use for now are grab, draw, inflate. Of course, we use everything, but just I'm gonna explain that slowly. And if you press F, you make your brush bigger. If you press Shift F, you make the strands stronger, or like you affect the strength basically. So instead of going here and changing these stuff, you can just press F and Shift F. Also, if you press N, you have the tools. It's the same thing as having the tools here in the properties. It's the same thing. So here, the same thing, the F is changing the radius. You can see the Shift F is changing the strength. And there are lots of things that you can do here, but we're not gonna go through it right now. We're just gonna start blocking this guy. I already have it blocked. The way I do this, just let me show you. So if you go to object mode, press Shift A. First, let's Shift S, add the cursor to the head. So if you press Shift A, mesh, let's say icosphere for now. What doesn't matter. So let's isolate this. So let's say you have this icosphere. If you go to Ctrl Tab, press Sculpt mode. Let's say you have to turn on the Z, and the first thing I usually do, G is the shortcut for the grab, and I think V is the shortcut for the draw. So G. So I just move vertices around. I keep the wireframe on, especially on this lower resolution things. And the trick is something called remesh, which is here. Not Dyne Topo, it's remesh. And the shortcut for remesh is you press R, you technically define the resolution. So how big you want your faces to be. So you can see here it's telling us the smaller the more resolution, of course. And you can see that it's already changing here as well. And if you just press Ctrl R, it's the same thing as going here, remesh. And it just adapts to whatever shape we have in here by just adding more resolution. And if you press Shift, you're kind of smoothing. Or you press S, which is the smooth brush, and you can Shift F, change a bit the strength of the smoothing if you don't want to smooth as hard as it was. And if you press N, go to Tools. I think here you can change the deformation from whatever this is spelled, Laplacian, to surface. Surface tries not to change the volume, but smooth the surface, so it's like polishing. However, the other one, the default one, is changing everything. So it's not gonna show a lot, especially not when I'm in flat mode. Let's go to material preview. And let's go for, instead of scene lighting, let's go for the provided HDRI lighting that we have in here. I'm not sure it's gonna show much here. You can see the surface is a bit relaxing, but it's not as much as if you go for the other one. Right? The thing is, I think my exposure is a bit too much because of what I'm doing here. So let's just reduce the exposure a bit. It's not affecting anything actually. Let's keep it here at 0. Is this for the render or for the viewport? I think this is for the viewport. It's not changing anything. Anyways, you think you know everything in Blender until you're streaming. Let's X, delete this, and let's get back to this guy. So it's looking good. We did a good job. Yeah. So the first thing is start with the big shapes, of course, and let's start with the big shapes. So sculpt mode, go for the G. Again, as I said, I don't really care about the like first things first. I don't really care about. I don't have a. Sorry, I'm trying to do many things at the same time. I don't have a reference image, so I'm trying to create this on the go. Now, what's happening in here? Why is the symmetry all messed up? It could be the origins. So where's the origin of that guy? I isolated. It's here. And I think this is why my symmetry is all messed up. So if I right click, set origin to geometry, and now if I go to sculpt mode, you can see that it is properly symmetrized. Properly. Of course, as I promise you all the time, this is the clumsiest YouTube channel ever. Origin to geometry. So let's start sculpting. First, what's happening? Okay, I think this is because I have the extras turned off. I'm not sure. Or maybe this is too big. It's not. Yeah, it's too big. So we're gonna remesh it. Ctrl R. It's creating something here. Let's just smooth it. I'm gonna start with the pen because it's less demanding on my shoulder. So first things first, just trying to set up the basic shapes. You can just keep on pressing Ctrl R as you're working to reposition things. So the first thing when you're sculpting a face is it's like you're doing a skull. So you need the sockets of the eye, you need the shape of the nose. Again, this is just very quick. What I'm thinking about doing is having this dude wearing a cap, and probably he'll be bearded. So this guy is not a good guy. That's the whole story of this. He's someone who wants to make quick money without giving people services. They are corrupt. they are protected by corrupt politicians. They do their work. So people don't really like them. So I want to try in the design of this thing to make him look as if he's not a good guy. So I'm not sure what is the look of not a good guy. We probably have our stereotypes. We're gonna see. I don't want to offend anyone, especially these days. Anyways, it's a good thing when you're a small streamer. I think you have less attention, which is a bad thing as well. Anywho, so this is the guy. So the chair, of course, is not done yet. So this is not. This is just a placeholder for a chair. I'm gonna try to be symmetrical as much as possible, at least for the hard ones like the face. Okay, and for the neck, yeah, for the body, for the upper body, of course, maybe for the legs, I will just work on pose, not without really caring about. So the resolution is too big for some reason. And you can see that the remesh isn't the best at symmetry. But I guess there is a tool in here where you can say symmetry and or probably also somewhere. It's not in the Dyn topo. You know what? I'm just checking things out. So there is a symmetry in here in the tools. And you can say symmetrize, but I think we need it from Y because we're on the Y axis. And you can see now that we have better symmetry here. If you press Alt Q, you just jump. So Alt Q and hover above the object and just press Alt Q without pressing on it. But your cursor has to be on top of it. You'll see that it has like an orange overlay on top of it. Hi there. So if you press symmetrize, you can see that that's a better symmetry. So the remesh isn't symmetrical, at least in terms of topology. It probably symmetrical in terms of volume, but sometimes it's not symmetrical in terms of topology, so you have to be careful. And anyway, this is all like this is just a working geometry for sculpting, and we are expected to remesh, to retopologize in the end anyways. All right, so let's do the upper body. I think the head and the torso are fine, as you can see. So with the pen, I did map one of the keys of the pen to be as if I'm clicking on the middle mouse button. And in Blender, if you click the middle mouse button and you press Ctrl at the same time, you can zoom in and zoom out. And that's a good hack if you wanna be able to fully work with the pen without having to lock your zoom, because you need to be moving when you're sculpting. You need to be moving all over the place. I don't have a workflow, a set workflow. I just jump around a lot. But the main point that I try to abide by or like to respect is, of course, no details, just shapes, and just try to pull. Like this is something that I learned early on while I used to work with ZBrush. Try to get the most possible out of your geometry before subdividing it and like before remeshing it into a bigger geometry. So whatever faces I can pull right now, I will try to use them before, like I say, remesh into a bigger like a more resolution, if you want. And since we still don't know how this will end up being, so there is still no point in worrying much about the details. So I have an idea in mind, and this idea is like this guy is wearing like an eye shirt. He has a beard, he's wearing a cap, maybe he has like a frizzy hair. He's a bit like his body is bulky, like he has a good body build, or like at least not necessarily good, but in a sense it is like thick boned, if you want. and he's probably wearing shorts and flip-flops, but at the same time he probably holding a phone or wearing some metal necklaces, or let's try again, this is too little, or metal rings or something like this. All right, so as you can see, we're just grabbing things. We're not doing much, just jumping in between stuff, grabbing and pulling and pushing. That's it. I just made sure that at least for these, if you go to the item, the rotation is zeroed out, so we are aligned with the word axis. And this is how you can do symmetry in Blender. There are no possible symmetry in Blender. In ZBrush, you can pause and you can have still symmetry because it will respect the local axis of the object. Not in Blender. There is no such thing as symmetrized symmetry. I think there is a way, but I've seen someone do it. But everything in Blender, I was watching a tutorial yesterday and they mentioned this, and I think it is correct. The dev implement something a pretty cool feature, but they don't push it till the end. I don't know why I don't follow this, but he might have a point. And sometimes you get the tool, but they got the tool of the similar to the softwares that you pay a fortune to own, but at the same time you don't get enough of that tool to be a proper replacement for these tools. But it does the job. You can work around most of the limits of Blender. There's a running water sound in the house. Doesn't make me comfortable while streaming. All right, so just building out the shapes for now. This probably has a belly. Anything when it comes to clothing will be added on later. First, we're doing the big shapes. Hello, man. How are you? How are you doing? We've missed you for the last couple of scenes. So I'm just trying to block the basic geometry of the dude who's sitting on the chair. The chair is still a placeholder, it's not done. Of course, it needs some work, but I want to do something more fun than a chair. We did a generator and a building, and I'm done with objects. I want to do human beings, and it will add a lot of characters to the scene in general. So it's something to start, I guess. So Shift D on the Y, move like this, right click and mirror on the Y, and G on the Y. I did not do a full symmetry, just the mirror, because I don't want it to have a mirrored pose. I'm just going directly into the idea of the pose in the sculpt. So we need to move his pivot point here to somewhere where the shoulders rotate. I guess this should be somewhere here, so let's do that. Shift S, cursor to selected object, right click, set origin to 3D cursor, and now it rotates from the right place. So now if I rotate on the Y, I'm actually rotating like this, and if you rotate on the X, maybe the local X. So do you work with Blender, or are you finding some values in these streams? I have a feeling that you're more advanced than me, probably. your work is really amazing. All right. So I don't know what I'm doing as usual, but I don't mind it when it comes to sketching 3D because I'm trying to figure this out on the go instead of like sketching it beforehand. So again, I'm just setting the pivot point just so I can rotate it from a place that looks logical. So this is the elbow probably. So this guy, like maybe holding a phone or something. I'm not sure. We'll see. The idea right now is that this guy is like checking his phone. That's the idea right now. So rotate this on the Y. It's looking down. We need to hide some buildings, or we either need to hide some buildings or we need to isolate him. But I kind of having fun having him in context. So let me see, do we still have something in the way? Let's just hide whatever is in the way. It's a bit fun to have the generators and the building in the background while you're working. Probably won't be practical for most of the parts, but let's just see how far we can push it. There before, but I love to see it. Camera. Ah, cool. I would imagine you'd be awesome in these and like setting up a studio scene lighting. Probably this is the thing that relates to photography, right? So we're doing the forearm. Of course, we need to do the arm for this to look kinda normal. Alright, let's get back to the pen. Sculpting with the mouse can be done, especially when it comes to the grab feature, but I'm having some shoulder issues lately, and working with the pen is much easier on your body actually. And even like the tabs where you like, not the screen tabs, like the tabs where you have like it's not like it's a tabletop or something. I used to have these for most of my life before buying this one. It's also easy to get used to actually. It's so fun. I actually sometimes enjoy it more than the tabs were like the screen tabs, the screen display tabs. Sometimes just looking at your screen and sculpting on the table is also a fun experience, and they are cheaper to purchase. So if you want to get a pen tablet, just get one that doesn't have a screen on budget at first. Just start to get used to it, see if this thing you enjoy before committing like a lot of money to it, because it's good. Yes, bro, that's do with photography. Yeah. Yep. You're doing an awesome job as well. So, like, you're probably one of the best at this kind of post-processing images, giving them like a good story and feel. Like, your style is kind of unique, you know? You'd know that this is a Yamraj picture before even seeing any name or relation to you. Let's do a hand. Getting away from the cam a bit. It's getting a bit hot in here. All right. So this is looking fine. I want to do a hand, I guess, because it's also hands and ears are underrated. Ears like change the face a lot. Well, you deserve it, man. All right. I hope this guy looks as bad as I want him to be. Let's just probably center the neck with the face, and his neck is a bit too big. You can see that I jump a lot. I'm not focused at all at this phase. I just wanna get the shapes going. That's probably not the best way to do it, just the way that my head wants to do it. I just see something and I jump directly on it. I wanna fix it. I don't invest too much time in one place. I just keep jumping around. So you can see I'm copying one of like I'm copying the forearm. For the hands, I can scale it down. I can Control A, apply the scale. And now what we can do is just cut the hell out of it. So is it 3? 3 is the right view that we want now. I don't think we need any symmetry here, which we don't have. And if you press T, you can see that the eye is the inflate. So we can press I and just inflate this whole thing because it's gonna collapse on itself if we don't do this. So what I'm trying to do is just trying to get the feel of the pawn. Then if you press G, you're gonna grab again. Now if you press Control R, it's gonna topologize if you want, but the resolution is too low, so let's find a better resolution for this. Probably somewhere in here, so Control R. Scale is fine. It's too much. Let's reduce a bit the resolution for now, just for us to get the feel of it. Yes, especially when it comes to like sculpting things, I actually just enjoy like just starting with it. I don't think I'm gonna rig it. If you wanna rig a character, you need to model it in a T pose or an A pose, right? And then you need to rig it. I'm just working in pose. If I want to animate him, probably I would rig him. Or maybe I would like, if I'm gonna do this, like, you know, these kind of, I was thinking about this, like if you have like a still scene, but something is moving, where you have like a looping animation of like some small things, and if he's involved, like maybe he's moving his phone, pressing it, probably I'm gonna rig like the hands or the fingers or whatever is moving, not everything. I'm thinking about the idea of making like small animations out of these scenes. Like you can, instead of getting an image, you get like a small video. Yeah, exactly. I'm just working in pose. It's a technique that there are some good artists that do something called 3D sketching, and they work much faster than me actually, and they just like try to do a full scene in probably like an hour, and this is why they just work in pose, but they don't do details actually. They just do like the illusion of a detail, but it's usually extreme illusion of details. It's a stylized type of art. It's really good. You know what? I can show you. It's really good. Open Instagram. I don't know if I showed it in streams before. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I think she's called Asusa. She's one of my inspirations. I'm following her. Asusa. So I'm no longer finding them. Asusa Tojo. Something like this. I'm not sure if it's with a Z or with an I can't find them. For some reason, I cannot find them. That's weird. That's weird. Ah, I found it. So, here, that's the style I'm talking about. It's an extremely cool style. So this is 3D actually. And you can see like her characters are like, I think she does these like in like one, she usually says like that's a workshop. That's like a 3-day workshop, so probably like 3 hours of work or something like this. Like some of the posts, like this one, late night sketch. So this is just like one night work. I really like the style. I know I'm not doing it. I'm going for more details. But when I first started, I was hoping like I would do this actually, not what I'm doing right now. But it's just going in this direction. I'm not stopping it. Yeah, it is. But like for me, I'm like I got in the rabbit hole of learning Blender, of like learning Blender more. So this is why I'm going for more details. But I would have done this style actually. I have to do it again. So fingers. I'm not doing all like fingers, single fingers. I'm trying to do the fingers as one big shape for now. So the hands are hard to do. It's not, and saying that the hands are hard to do is not something that anyone will go against this. So the thumb, probably holding a phone at some point. So let's see. Let's keep on moving it in place. It's still not positioned properly. I think I need to inflate it. So Control Tab, Sculpt Mode, I for inflate. Let me sculpt this and smooth it out a bit. Let's go back to Sculpt. G. It's hard to work directly in pose because stuff are in front of each other, but you can get used to it actually. And it's fun because when you work in T-pose, no matter how good the character is, the design is, it will never look good in T-pose. For some reason, it just looks weird because like nobody stands in T-pose or in any pose in reality. But when you work in just pose, final pose, like you're just seeing it as it is. Although you're gonna lose the ability to animate, of course. Just a second, let me bring back my OBS. Yeah, they are, man. It's weird to work with 3D hands because you have a lot of like control points, like each bone, each knuckle, each joint, all of them are really hard to pose. There are some tools out there that are good at posing now, like even good at animating. They're integrating AI with animation. It's I don't remember the name of it. I'm gonna look it up later. I can send it to you. So what this guy has created is a software where you can just like select the 2 main poses or like the main keyframes, and then the software will figure out like the transition between them. But it's not like just like a linear transition or an easy transition or something. It's more of an AI transition where like the bones will do more things than just easing in or out. I think it's called Cascadeur or something. I have to check it out. I used to follow the guy on Twitter before Twitter went to hell. I hope that he'll come to Threads. He's a really cool guy, by the way. I've seen today that one of the big accounts on X that I follow, He's into technology. He posted today on Threads. I think people are escaping X, especially with the news like lawsuits. I don't know if you heard of these lawsuits. I don't want to go political, but probably people are scared from staying there. Anyways, for now, that's kind of enough. It doesn't look good, I know, but let's just try to work with what we have. So I'm gonna just rotate it. So the thing I'm doing here is that if you select the bunch of objects, and if you press on the period button, now there is a median button that says like we're gonna rotate at the average positions of these 3 pivot points. But if you press active element, then you're gonna rotate at the pivot point of the unit, the object that you selected the last, which is we call the active unit and the active element, and you see it has a different orange color. So now the rotations is happening on this pivot instead of the median points, which is somewhere here in the middle. Right, so the period button or here, this menu item, active elements, and if you rotate, I think we need to rotate it on the X. Can do control like Never heard of them. I need to check them out. I should Google this. I think the issue with AI is it's a really good tool, but it's allowing for like, of course, all the legal issues are valid for all the artists. I wouldn't want anyone to steal all my work and like recreate my art without like any reference to me, or like any artist not getting paid for their art being stolen. That's of course. But the other thing, that if you take this legal part out of the, let's say this legal part is solved, we have the issue of like low effort. I know, like, being creative, like we can't judge. Anyone can express themselves as like they want, but it's giving, like, by lowering this barrier to creativity, it's kind of creating a sense of like achievement for someone that hasn't yet explored all of their potential. And it's really amazing to explore your creative potential by yourself. And by just relying, it could be a good start for you to work with AI tools, but like for someone to really enjoy the creative path, they need like to do the job. And AI is like lowering this barrier, it's lowering the effort, and it's just a shortcut to creativity, which doesn't make sense. Creativity is about like this exploration, and taking the shortcut for an exploration. It's like, imagine going on a hike, but going for the shortcut. What's the point? Anyways, that's my rant. So back to the active element here, rotate. So this is the most important part in sculpting. Getting this part working is very important. Like if you get the basic pose, the basic shapes going, then adding details is just gonna add to the overall look and feel. Instead of like, if you have a bad big shapes, you will never be able to save that with details. So like, this is the part where you should take your time a bit and just try to look at it from different point of view. I don't think the hand is well positioned yet. Try to position it from different point of view. Since we're working with 3D, we want to have this flexibility of being able to look at it from different point of views. And if it doesn't look good in different point of views, then what's the point? So let's remove this, make sure that this is the active element. So now we're rotating from here. I think I need to add a phone on his hand for this to look proper. So if I'm holding my phone, I would hold it like this actually, right? Like this. So it kinda looks fine for now. I wish I had more references, but I decided to do this without a reference. Anyway, so Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A mesh, and Shift A mesh, and let's Shift A mesh, and let's add a cube. Let's make it something like maybe 10 centimeters, even less, something like this. And we can move it here, scale it on the X, move it, scale it on the Z. I'm just trying to create a phone. Scale on the local X like this. Move it up. Rotate these like this. Yep, that's looking good for now. Let's move this like this, and let's rotate this to the outside. It's important to understand the anatomy of an object, even though like you cannot move this like this, but you understand that the shoulder rotates, this pivots, like you need to know like the shoulders in real life rotates, this one rotates on this like or move on a certain pivot. Like you need to understand how the joint works. We don't really like, there are some really good artists that knows even the names of each bone, each muscle, like how they fit together, and of course it shows in their work. It shows that how good of an artist they are. So if you want to go down that path, by all means do. It's amazing. But you can go by a lot of things without having to like to really go technical on things. I understand that there are some artists that like to know all of these by name, but sometimes it's not that necessary, you know. All right, it looks as if he's looking at the phone. So that we have the phone part working. Let's give it a black color. So just any black, maybe black rubber or black plastic would do for now. But the question is now, in terms of story, does this look good? Like in terms of storytelling, I think it's fine for now. I probably think of it more off stream, but for now I'm happy with what's going on. Just making sure that the proportions are working properly. Bringing back the pen because the mouse is hurting me. And just jumping between objects, trying to fix mistakes that look clear mistakes. Yeah, man, you'd understand this. Like the thing is that it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. So we want to treat everything lately, especially when the hustle movement got too much attention for the last maybe 10 years. Now it's calming down a bit. People are regaining their senses. But we wanted to treat everything as if it's productivity, even for art. Like everything is about hustling and like putting in the hours and getting to the results. But I think creativity doesn't and shouldn't follow these same rules. It's something else. It's like the metaphor of dancing. So when you're dancing, you don't wanna. The goal is not to reach an endpoint. The goal is to enjoy it. And creativity is about enjoying the dance. It's not about reaching a point. So productivity is about putting the hours and then getting the outcome, which could be the money, the product, like whatever, the appreciation, whatever you're going for. But creativity should be something different. And if you're making money out of your creativity, that's amazing. If not, try not to stress it a lot. Try not to demand income from your creativity. Sometimes it pushes it, like it makes it suffer if you demand income out of your whatever you do. I know the goal is to live creatively or like to make money from your talents. This is amazing, like getting paid for doing something that you enjoy doing. That's amazing, of course. So now I'm introducing the draw brush. The draw brush is kind of like the push. It's different than the grab. It's more like a push and pull brush. It's similar to the standard brush in ZBrush if you ever use ZBrush. It's just a way to move things. Like it's like you're pulling things out and forward. It's just about pushing things around. It's a bit too strong. This is why it's not working properly. Also the smooth, which is S, is also too strong, so I need to make it less strong. So now when I press shift, it's not deforming the shapes a lot. Alright, I think I need to move on to different parts of the body. I try just to get more things done than just focusing on the small parts. So I'm gonna save, I'm gonna shift D the hand, I'm gonna mirror on the Y, the global Y, I'm gonna rotate, then we're gonna position it here so his hand is on the chair. This could probably be bigger a little bit, and this as well, of course. So make sure that the active element is always the palm and the origin is set properly, just because we need to scale it from the palm. And now let's just fix this a little bit. Inflate. The inflate is the weirdest brush, and most of the time it doesn't work. So the inflate job is like to inflate that geometry, to push them apart. And I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, but in Blender is the worst. I'm not sure if it should be something here, the fall off, the stroke, I don't know. Po-chan, my man, you're still up. How are you doing? Direction, normals. Let's read the hardness, auto smooth. I don't know. Radius unit by view, by scene. Maybe they should do it by. Doesn't matter. So the inflate acts weirdly, and you can see here it's kind of deflating. It's pushing everything to one point. How is it going with your article? So you're still working on the app you showed us like a couple of months ago? You were doing like some sort of note-taking app. It was looking good at the time. So let's keep on sculpting around. Okay, more belly. Oh, that's cool. Do you have like a date launch in mind, or like you're just enjoying the process? I was just talking about how creativity is about enjoying the process. It's not about the income, the input and output. Like it's not about the output technically. It's just about having fun. So you just came in the right time. Right. I'm gonna check this with the rendered view to see how it's looking with the lights. Of course, it looks like a sausage right now, just how it should be, because this guy is a sausage. Let's make him a bit darker. Yeah, like this is how we all started. Like you look at this and you get so amazed, and you see if you can do something like it, and you get hooked. But you should start at a very young age, because it's it's a very, very big field. It's like coding, you know, and there's a lot of things to learn. So it's this, yeah, this is just the shadow of the hand. Actually, it's looking weird. So the shift brush, the smooth brush is too weak right now. So it's looking fine. In general, it's looking fine in terms of big blocking. Okay, so I'm changing a bit the scene light. I'm using the scene light without the scene word, because the scene word has this blue tint and these shadows that are not looking good. Whereas the scene light is a bit better. I think we can make it even brighter, change a bit the rotation. We can even change the light. Like this is the HDRI that we're using right now. We can use something different. I would go for something a bit more diffused and bright, just so I can see what's happening. Maybe something like this. Yeah, this works fine. Yeah, that's it. Like it's one software, like all of them. It's one tool, but it's like 25 different career paths. They're not the same. So like if you open this tool, like all of these are different career paths. Like I don't know, sculpting is, you can do sculpting for life. You can do texture painting for life. You can do rigging and stuff like this. You can do modeling, and that's just one menu. If you go here, you can go like just rendering and lighting. That can be your thing. You can be the guy, like just Jamraj was saying. You can be the guy that renders. I think this is the same thing with coding, you know? You can be the tester, you can be the UI guy, you can be the front end, the back end, the guy of the CSS only, you can be like one language guy, or like all of these stuff. It's too dark on this side, I'm gonna work on this side. The object has non-uniform scale, so let's check. So we have, every time I select the neck or the face, it tells me that it has a non-uniform scale. This means that the scale is not applied. You can see that this is -1. So the best practice is to go to object mode, Ctrl A, apply the scale for all of these guys. That could be the inflate issue. Let me check. So now if I go to the sculpt mode inflate, no. Yeah, it's behaving better. So it could be that the inflate is also affected by the scale, and it's like ruining everything else. That's the beauty of 3D. So many careers are getting better. Yeah, exactly. And you know, like for me, the best path is the generalist path, the one that knows everything, but it's not the professional at anything. It's not for everyone. It's some people would like to be like the pro of one thing, and they do like a really, really good job at it. There's a position called the technical artist, which is the best actually. So you kind of do everything. You support everyone. So you could be the guy that support the animators by the rigging, doing the systems, like doing modeling, doing texturing. they call technical artist in the field. So if you check like positions for technical artists, it's basically like a full list of everything you do in 3D. And they are well paid for it as well. Anyways, I'm still moving around. All right, that's amazing. Is it a known studio? We don't have this here, by the way. Like we don't have companies that offers this position in my country. I know you can do it abroad, but usually 3D companies, productions prefer their teams not to be remote, by the way. They want to produce fast and they want to be in the same place so they can coordinate. So I'm just at this point trying to manage the pause. Oh, really? I would assume you have some good productions over there. Anyways, it's sad because like it is concentrated in few places, and probably in Japan they have a lot of these positions, or maybe in Korea, like South Korea, of course. They have some good companies. Well, I'm talking but with zero data, by the way. All right, let's go for the legs. Let's go for the most visible. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they are concentrated in certain places, and they are very highly competitive, by the way. Dude, that would be a dream job. Although I hate going back to a job, but that would be a dream job. Like if I wanna go back to working for someone, that would be it, babe, probably. I don't think I have the skills, but if we're dreaming. Like if you have a link to his company later on, send it to me like by DM or something. I would love to check them out, just to see their work, of course. We all do, man. Like I did this probably 3 years for now, or maybe 4 years at this point. Like it is good to work for yourself. I'm not gonna lie, it's amazing, this freedom. But it's also this freedom is sometimes, it's hard like to take care of yourself, like to find the jobs and to get the paychecks, like I don't know, however you wanna live, probably by a small business. Like I run a small business, making sure that everybody's happy, getting paid. I'm in. Start the group, man. I'm ready. I already have my business. Check. I'm gonna write it in chat. Check. I actually just launched it yesterday. Just go to vivify.me. You'll see what we do in terms of business. But I would love to. I actually worked in games. I worked in animation studios, like with animation studios, not animation studios. I did try lots of stuff. WPP, I think you did introduce us to this guy. I think so. I probably follow him on Instagram as well. Yeah, I think you do. I think you did. I remember I've seen his work. It's amazing. All right. So I'm just tweaking a bit the pose, but as I said, I wanna just clear everything out and focus on the legs before starting with the clothing. Yeah. Pretty sure you did. And at some stage with creative threads. So this needs to be remeshed. Yeah, I remember. Thanks, man. I did it by myself. I learned React for this one. By the way, Pochan, remember when I was asking you about React? This is the website that we ended up doing. That's what we do professionally, by the way. Like when I shut down my streams and I go out of threads, this is what makes the money. So we need to apply the scales because it's giving us some issues. You need something that makes money, man. You can sit here and talk about creativity for hours, but at the end of the day, you need to feed your family, to feed yourself, to pay the rent. And then you can discuss all that freedom and creativity whenever that's set. And Yamraj, I'm open for for that production team. Oh yeah, it's still the Vite one, right? Because sometimes it showed and sometimes it didn't show. But yeah, I just published it yesterday, but you're 100% right. All right. I think we're done in terms of pose and basic. Let's have a turnaround just to check that if he has the right proportions, if everything is working properly. Let's do it in different rendering. Let's unhide everything. So what I'm checking right now is just the basic proportions. Like I can see right now that this hand is a bit short, so the best way to do this is just to go to object mode, pick this guy and rotate it on the Y like this. So this now makes more sense. It's a very small website. It's just a couple of images and the video is a bit big, but I think it loads when you press it. Yeah, tell me about it. You would still need to work for people. there is no escaping this. You can't escape that path. But at least you'll be the one calling the shots. I'll be your 3D guy. I actually have the 3D team for it as well. The face looks super weird, but I guess that happens when you don't have a mouth and you don't have hair, you don't have ears. That is fine. It's looking good. Hopefully. The app guy, yeah. The integration. I'm pretty sure we can pull that one off. All we need to do is just set the products, the services, and We need the sales guy. That's the most important guy. I'm pretty sure that if we show people the Yamraj portfolio, we'll get jobs. We don't need more than this. You need that guy that goes into like these offices and sell it. I'm not that guy, man. I can be authentic, but I'm not saying that sales are not authentic people, but they need like to hype it up, and I don't know how to do that. You need the hype, man. I used to work in the real estate business, and one of the clients that used to come, for him everything used to be sexy. He needed the sexy building, a sexy ad, a sexy render. Like you need that guy that thinks of everything as sexy. It's the sexy website, the sexy app. I used to hate him, by the way, but yeah, he makes much more money than me. So if we're talking business, we're talking money. Yeah, that's fine. Let's look at it with this view. This view. That's a fun shot today. I usually talk to myself, by the way. That's a big change. Thank you guys for stopping by. Would have been sweaty and bored by now. So funny as the definition right now. Sales guy can be. Yeah, exactly. Like I used to be much younger. Like that would have been like maybe 10 years ago. Like in my mind, like what the hell is a sexy building? And the architect that I used to work with, he was I don't know, he was so dumb. He actually tried to do a building that has the same curves as a girl, you know. And in my mind, like, what the hell are you doing? What are you trying to do? Nobody wants to live in like in the curves of a lady, you know. Like, just give me a functional building. Going back to the womb, that was the speech. You can imagine I left this, like I resigned after a month or two. I was like, no way. There isn't enough money in the world. So this is coming together beautifully, actually, better than expected. I'm not sure again if checking the phone is the right move in terms of storytelling, but we're going for it. We're not gonna overthink everything because that's not very useful. I think I'm gonna dress him up because if I post him like this on threads, it's either gonna be limited or people are gonna make it a joke, so. I think this topic would become. It's just a joke, man. Don't overthink it. So we're just waiting the business plan from Yamraj and we're ready to go. We already have the skills. We just need the will. All right. I guess it's looking fine. I would have preferred I don't know if like I would have preferred to like this looks like a shoes. I would have probably gone for like a flip-flops and legs, but I don't want to overcomplicate things right now, so I'm just going right now for the shoes. Maybe tomorrow I would change it, but today I put a lot of time in the pose, so I don't want to put too much effort right now here. So it's just about posing him and applying the scales because it might affect the brush work. Hey, thanks for stopping by, man. Really appreciate it. Try to make it more often if you can. I know it's a bit too late for you, but it would be amazing. All right, let's figure out the clothing part, and we're gonna stop for today. So let's change the viewport again. Let's go for something. It's looking fine, I guess so. The material here is. So what I did is I applied the same material of the moped, but the moped has a painted texture, which is the seat here, and this is why you see this big splotch, but we're not focusing on this. Trying too hard not to focus on this. For someone that cannot concentrate on one object at the same time. It's really distracting me, but we can do this. All right. So there are different ways to do this. We can either paint the shirt and extract it as an object, or we can just model it separately. I think I'm gonna paint it. It should be easier. So, and it's a good way to introduce masks. So this is the object that, like, this is, I want to do an eye shirt here. So this is, it's gonna fit on his upper body. And let's isolate it for now. And let's go to edit mode. You see that it doesn't have enough geometry because let me jump into sculpt mode. Let me pick masks, or it's M. So if I mask this, it's actually masking by geometry. So it masks the vertices technically, and doesn't have enough geometry to create a like the eye shirt profile or outlines. So what I want to do is I want to duplicate this object, Shift D, and then right click. Then I want to isolate this copy of this top. That is the only guy who gets up to get tired. Like I'm trying to make this a thing actually, hopefully. Can you imagine like generating some income by doing like this? How cool would that be, you know? Then you wouldn't have to worry about working for someone or like working for a client. What happened now? So yeah, I wanna just isolate this. I wanna go back to sculpt mode. I wanna go to this view. Maybe that's probably better. Then let's try to paint the mask. Let's make it. I'm gonna increase the strength and I'm gonna remove the pen brush pressure because we're not painting. We just wanna select. So probably we can go for a mask box or box mask for this part. And probably we can get rid of this. So control and drag, you would eliminate some selection. And just painting with the you would, I need to press It's not changing, so I'm gonna do it manually. Press F to change the size of the brush. Press Ctrl to reduce some of the selections. And let's make sure it doesn't look like a weird shirt. It looks like a proper shirt. So I'm just trying to extract the basic geometry here. Like we can still do some changes after we get it. So let's go back to object mode. I want to hide the pink one, not the green one, the pink one, just so I can see what I'm doing. So like we don't want it to look like a delicate piece, you know. We want to look at like as if it's a shirt for a dude. So like I don't know how to explain this, but we don't want it to look feminine. Actually, it should be like a male cut, just because these are like some of the worst designs that you can ever see anyway. So it's called the flannel actually in here. It's something that you wear underneath your clothes. I guess this is a good start. Are you talking about Ethel's one? So if you stay in sculpt, go to mask, there's a mask extract. Mask slice, mask, yeah. Now first let's increase the contrast. Or maybe not increase the contrast, it's called mask. It used to be called something else. It used to be sharpen, yeah. So we sharpen the mask just to make sure that we don't have these weird like borders or something. And then let's go for mask extract. The threshold, let's keep everything as it is for now. And let's isolate it. And you see you'll end up with this object. So this is already good enough, but the issue with this one is that, so let's go back here, let's delete the green one and hide the pink one. I'm not sure if this has already a solidifier. Solidify, let me check. It already has a simple solidify from the extract. You just need to tweak it a bit. We can fill the rims, we can even the thicknesses. So if you go to this view and we give it a different material, let's go for something white. I don't know if I have something white already in the scene. I'm gonna go for white plastic for now, but we can change it. It's too white. Let's go for something else. Let's call it shirt. That's fine. And then let's give it in the surface a bit less white. Let's save for now. So it's kind of lagging right now. I'm not sure why. Okay, so the issue with this, the big issue with this now, if I wanna sculpt it, it's gonna work fine. So we can just sculpt things around, we can inflate things if we want. And actually we can apply a cloth modifier to it and actually let me go to the edit mode. I think it needs to be flipped in terms of normals. Let's check the face orientation. Let's turn off the solidify modifier. It's actually working fine. The thing is, if I wanna remesh this, it's gonna fill the holes. I'm gonna show you. But first, so it's really hard to do just Control Tab, sculpt mode, and just remesh. As you can see, it's messed up. And if you go to remesh here, let's say fix, produce less pose and better topology flow. Let's remesh. No matter what you do now, even if you go for something really small, it's gonna lag a bit. Hopefully it's not gonna crash. I think I saved. So the thing is, I just reduced the geometry a lot and trying to figure out, you can see the streams lagging. I'm trying even to fill all the holes as well. All right, I think we're lagging. Okay, let's see. We can close it. All right, I'm just gonna do the shorts. So the thing is that whenever you have one plane that is not closed, if you wanna remesh it, it's gonna try to, I'm gonna end the process. It's gonna try to close it, and we're gonna have issues with this. Okay, let's. In the meantime, we can enjoy the work of Asusa Banana, one of my inspirations. While Blender's restart. All right, we have Blender here. Let's try to move it there. Why don't I have? So edit, preferences, interface 1. Then we can, so I don't have, come on. I just can't drag it from one window to another for some reason. Not sure why. Why is it locked here? This is the question. That's embarrassing. All right, got it. Okay, edit preferences 2x2 for my screen size file. Open recent. Don't save. Thank you so much. You're the awesome man. All right, again. So if you go here, let's hide the solidify modifier for a bit. So right now, like you just saw, it crashed everything. There's an add-on. It's called Quad Remesher. I think it's paid. It is paid. Yeah, I bought this one. You can actually remesh it. This one behaves like ZBrush. It's gonna remesh it properly. It's gonna look amazing. You can even define how much geometry do you want in it. It's not that expensive as well, but let's go back to it. It's remeshing the solidify in it. Let's just not remesh the solidify. Let's set it to symmetry on the Y. Let's set maybe 500 polygons maximum. Let's remesh. We're losing some geometry. We can remove the adaptive quad count and we can go back to 500 and let's remesh again. So adaptive means that it tries to add more geometry where it needs to, which is a good idea, but sometimes you end up with some weird stuff. Let's hide input object. Let's try to remesh again. So we need to symmetrize on the Y. 600 faces. And that's fine. We can just actually just fill these faces ourselves. It's not a big deal. And we can actually get rid of that cut altogether. Control X. And that cut, we don't need it. We can even delete one side and just fix one of the sides. So Alt S, Alt Z, sorry, faces in the front view. Pick one side, X, delete the faces. Go to tab view, pick these vertices here and just move them. Then we can just apply a mirror, have the origin set properly, and we want to wear on the Y. We want to bisect on the Y and we want to merge. So now all we need to do is delete Actually, we don't need to delete anything. We just need to apply solid. We just need to add a solidify with a certain thickness, and we need to shade auto smooth. And for now, this is fine. You can sculpt more. You can sculpt just one side, and it's gonna sculpt the other side because it has a mirror modifier. So we're fine here as well. And of course, we can later apply the symmetry and break the symmetry as much as we want. So let's do the shorts. The shorts, I don't think I can do the same trick because I don't think I can paint masks on different legs and and like the waist. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recreate it myself. So Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, mesh, cube. Make the cube much smaller. Go to the top view, or probably the front view, G on the Z. And now I would probably want to limit my view to these guys only. Make sure that I have the cube somewhere in here. Yep. So scale it, move it up, scale it on the Y, something like this. And now we have to just model it. So if we extrude along the normals like this and extrude these like this. So now all we need to do is just place the vertices properly. It's not symmetrical, of course. It wasn't intended to be symmetrical, so we're fine. We can scale these on the Y, I guess. This and this. Following the medium point. And then we can move this down. And probably move these up like this. Move this here, move that here. So it's just about figuring out how a short should look. And for this one, we probably can just remesh and sculpt it actually, because it is closed, and we can later on extract just the shell and remove. Like you can in sculpting, you can sculpt big shapes and then you can extract shapes from them and clean them up with retopology. So without talking a lot about it, let's just remesh it without symmetry, of course. So let's make sure that symmetry isn't here. We need more geometry actually. Before remeshing it, let's just try to sculpt the shape as much as we can. And you know what? Instead of remeshing it, I'm gonna right click and subdivide by some amount. So this is better than adding geometry with remeshing, because remeshing is trying to join these two faces together, which is ruining it a bit. So I think the random isn't doing a good job. Let's go for material preview. White shorts isn't the best idea. Shorts, let's go for something dark gray, not much reference. Let's shade auto smooth it. Let's go back to sculpt mode. And you know what? Let's give these some dark material for now, just for some differences. And for the color, let's go for something a bit more realistic, something like this. Yeah. let's keep working on the sculpt, and then once we're done with the basic forms, we're gonna stop the stream for today. So let's keep the wireframes to see what we're doing, and it still looks like a low poly game character. So here it has a mirror on it, so when I'm sculpting, I have just to make sure that I'm selecting the proper side, which I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's this side or this side. Yeah, it's this side. It even has a solidify modifier on it, which is also a bit hard to work with. All right, something like this, and like that. And I guess for now, for today, yeah, it's already 12 in the afternoon here. So I guess for now we'll stop. This is what we ended up with for today. Let's control space. It's looking good for now. It looks as creepy as I want it to look, actually, so this is good. Of course, we're gonna add some more details. Yamraj, my man, thank you so much for sticking around, and Pochan also for dropping by, and I think he's sleeping right now. And for everyone that's gonna watch this later, hopefully you're finding value. If you have any question, leave them in the comments or find me on any of my social media. And if you made it this far, you can check also Patreon. All the assets are on there for free. I'm gonna wait just for a second for the OBS to sync with the YouTube stream. And that's it. See you next time.